To Jim Murdoch joining us from News 12 New Jersey, this is after her son is killed.
Correct.
And the mom, nobody would listen to her at all, 100 complaints. She, as Dr. Bethany pointed out, the only thing she could do, she posted on Facebook, basically, can somebody listen to me? So she goes
Correct.
by and throws some dead fish she got at the supermarket at their house. Now what, she's the bad person? I'm surprised that's all she did.
Timeline. You got to look at the timeline of this. So for months and months after her son died, Christopher was only charged with child endangerment until the murder charges, until that second autopsy came out. So she forms a Facebook group, Justice for Corey. And this was brought up on the second day of testimony as well, trying to find posters in that privately run Facebook group, signs of aggression toward the Gregor family. It was brought up briefly. And then Mario, the attorney for Christopher Gregor, brought up a dead fish in court. It was objected, it was shut down, but the point was in the court, this was all happening from a grieving mother's perspective.
Got it.
Court,
before we run out of time, I want to go to Jarrett Fiorentino, and correct me if my facts are wrong. Jarrett Fiorentino and Bill Daly, you've dealt with so many perps. When they go on the run, flight is evidence of guilt. And in this case, after Corey died, the dad is not sticking around. He hauls booty and hides out in a motel, I believe, in Tennessee. How does that look to you, Jarrett Fiorentino? Because I say, when you don't know a horse, look at his track record. Deadbeat dad, covered in bruises, takes off to Tennessee and hides out.
It looks to me like consciousness of guilt, Nancy. And if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. So a jury can be instructed. It's so critical in the law that when someone takes off, when they're in trouble, a jury is actually, as you know, instructed. Flight or running away is consciousness of guilt, and a jury can consider that. Think about any time people ever run away in their life. What are they running away from? Trouble. He ran away because he knew he was going to have to answer for the injuries that were all over Corey and everything that happened to Corey at that point. So it's flight, it's consciousness of guilt. It will be the final nail in a lot of nails in what undoubtedly will be the coffin of Mr. Gregor.
You know what, Jarrett Fiorentino, I would like to agree with you, but do I have to say O.J. Simpson, Robert Blake, Michael Jackson? I don't know what this jury's going to do. Bill Daly, former FBI, flight. Instead of sticking around, Daddy takes off, flees the jurisdiction, and hides out in a Tennessee motel.
Right, exactly, Nancy. And I mean, in addition to the legal view of this, it's the emotional view of saying, where was he when, when people around him needed him, when the grieving mother maybe needed him, when he needed to be there to kind of, close this loop with his dead son. Where was he at that time? And I think, as much as they're talking about, the mother and maybe some relatives throwing rocks and fish, at Gregor's parents' home, this goes far beyond that, in my view, is that he wasn't there for anyone. He wasn't there for just to close that final chapter in his son's life by being there when his son is being waked or perhaps being buried. It just doesn't jive with me, and it goes to that whole issue of flight and his sense of responsibility.
This trial going on right now. We wait as justice unfolds.